You know, usually when I'm behind the wheel of one of these things, we're doing something a little bit different. But today we're in Ventura. We're going to check out the Ventura Motor Sports Gathering. And the marquee is Ferrari. Come on, let's go take a look. The show's layout is organized by country of origin of cars. Italian cars together, German together, and British together. So where are the American cars? Well, next to the Budweiser Beer Garden. We brought Stephen and Matt from Brooks Institute along with still phototypes Tyler and Richard Hockett, also from Brooks. For any car guy, there's always a favorite. One of my personal is the Ferrari Daytona. Total exotic, front engine rear drive, and at the time, the fastest car you can buy. And with multiple cams, 4 carbs, and 4 exhausts, one of the best sounding cars ever made.
Well, I've had it a little over 4 years.
You take it to car shows. Do you ever drive it on the street for fun?
All the time. Probably 4,000 miles a year. So I drive it. It's not a hangar queen. It was the fastest road car in 1968, 69, 175 miles an hour.
Well, tell us about the motor in these. They're just gorgeous.
The motor is 12-cylinder, of course, 4.4 liters, which if you convert that to U.S. units is 270 cubic inches. 4-cam, has dual ignition, that is a separate ignition for each side of the engine. 2-valve head. They did experiment with a 3-valve head on it in one of the prototypes, but they stayed with the 2-valve head, and it's complicated enough. This one, I had to have it rebuilt, and when I did, I had them go through the motor and put in higher compression pistons and so on, and it put out 415 horsepower.
Well, we work with Mustangs a lot, and even by today's standards, that's pretty good numbers.
Yeah. Well, I think the worst thing about the driving is it drives like a truck. There's no power steering, so you know it's good for your biceps and triceps.
Yeah,
so.
do your delts.
And it's a lot of fun to drive. But it's for a car that was designed in 1968, it really drives very well.
Now I got to ask this because we're normally at the racetrack. Do you ever take it to the track on an open track day?
I may get talked into doing that sometime.
After checking out the 175-mile-an-hour Ferrari Daytona, Stephen and I crossed the pond to see what British cars are hanging out. I know this dude, Steve Carrolley.
Hey, Alan.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Come on up.
Oh, thanks.
I figured if you were here, we're going to find something pretty neat in a Mini.
Yes.
What can you tell us about this?
It is a 1960 Morris Mini Traveler, not to be confused with the Morris Minor Traveler. This is actually like a Mini Cooper Woody wagon.
Okay.
Everyone asks, well, did it come from the factory with the wood? And my answer is yeah. This is the way that they made them. I wanted to authenticate the car, so I sent the engine number and the chassis number to the British Motor Industry Heritage Trust in England, and they sent me their certificate, and they also sent me a handwritten letter. He said, quote, "It may be the oldest surviving Woody on the planet."
Is that right?
Yeah, true story.
Wow.
True story. The car originally came with an 850cc engine that generated about 35 horsepower, I believe. Currently, there's a 1380cc engine in there, and it dynoed out at about 85.
Well, that probably moves this pretty good. What's this weigh?
1,400 pounds. I didn't want a straight line car. I wanted a car that I could take on curves.
Yeah, of course.
So I have anti-sway bars front and rear. I have fully adjustable suspension in the front, toe in, toe out, caster and camber.
Yeah.
And in the rear I have as fully adjustable as possible.
You know, one thing you could definitely say about this when you look at that is that it is British. No doubt about it. I love it.
It's a kick in the butt.
It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
We'll catch you soon. I find out later that my friend Stephen would win Best of Show the following week at the British Car Show, also here in Ventura. Let's start old school. Tell me about this Maserati.
This is a 1955 Factory Works Maserati race car. It was raced by Phil Hill
Wow.
Hill climbs, raced here in the United States. Big race history in the car. It's a 4-cylinder. It's called a 200 SI.
You know, we looked at this beautiful Maserati, but I think you brought something that's brand new.
What we have here is the new California Spider. This car will come out late this month as a 2010 model. It's the first front-engine V8 car that Ferrari's produced in years. It's a hideaway hardtop. The top goes down in 11 seconds.
Wow.
The shifting is like the 599 milliseconds F1 transmission. The car will be priced probably in the early 220s or so. The car is 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds, carries 460 horsepower in it.
Anything else you want to tell us about this car?
Yeah, wish it were mine.
I'm here with Bill Erickson, actually one of the organizers of the event. Tell us about this car here.
This car has got tremendous history. This car was a land speed record holder in 1948. Became the cover of Hot Rod Magazine in 1939. We were approached by the current owner, Ernie Nagamatsu, to bring it back together with my friend Will Kalbermatter, who was able to recreate this from pictures, actually.
Hey, what can you tell us about the construction of the car and the chassis?
It was quite evident how Spurgeon and Giovanni were involved in aviation, specifically World War II aviation, the way they flush riveted the belly pan in place, knew about aerodynamics. They were just two guys that did whatever it took to make this car go fast. And we spent a day just making cardboard templates of the shape of the nose, the silhouette from the side, the way it looked from the front, and then went on to create a wood station buck.
Wow.
And onto that wood station buck, the skin was formed around it.
It's really a head turner, but you know, one thing about the car hobby is it's really as much about people as anything, and I wanted you to step in here and tell us a little bit about what happened today.
Well, I think it's one of the great moments because it was highly emotional, because everybody thought, including the historians, thought that this was lost forever. So across the way, just a few feet away, is Kurt, who is the son of Giovanni, and here's Karen, and she's the daughter of Spurgeon.
Oh.
And we have the son of Rufy here, who was part of the team that worked on the motor for 40 years, and it was sitting in the backyard in Apple Valley. Kurt did this tribute to this car as a new Bonneville racer with his dad, and as soon as they finished this car, his dad had passed on, but he was able to do that with his dad. They both represent tribute in a very different way. This is a modern tribute, and this is a tribute to the historical car of 48.
Now, the personal aspect of this is just wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Highlight of the show for me, that and Daytona that's sitting over there.
Thank you.
So we're not hot lapping at the racetrack, but believe me, a midsummer's 80-degree day in Ventura, surrounded with amazing examples of Ferrari and other European iron, it just might beat 120-degree heat at the track. Okay, perhaps not, but at least we help a charity, see some rare rides, and this road trip was way close to home. So for Road Trip, this is Alan Crockett. See you at the track.